Hello, dear friends. Here we are for another study of one of the articles of the Spiritist magazine. We're live with you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's just such a blessing to be here today. Most important topic for today is words, how to use them, when to use them, when not to use them. A lot of wisdom from the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier in a book that is yet to be published. It's been translated, and Vanessa Saloni does the morning prayer program using this book, so you can find that on our playlists. But what a blessing! Who is not in need of teachings by Emmanuel? This article comes from the issue 58 of the Spiritist magazine. It's titled Words. Issue 58 is the latest issue of the magazine that has a picture of our beloved Chico Xavier at the front. And as always, you can find all of the resources, the link to purchase a physical copy of the magazine, the link to download the PDF, the link to the app on the app stores, um, a link to the Facebook page of the Spiritist magazine, and even a donate button, because the work is 100% volunteer based, but there are costs associated with it. Therefore, if you can, we encourage you to do that as well. Spiritistmagazine.org is where you go for all of the resources. I'm going to scroll. As you can see, what you're watching now is the screen on my computer screen where the PDF version is open. And I use this as a reminder to everybody that it's very easy to interact with the teachings of the Spiritist magazine. The title is Words. The Spirit is Emmanuel. And the medium is Francisco Candido Xavier. And the first thing you see is a quote from the Bible. From the same mouth proceeds blessing or cursing. James 3:10. Isn't that true? The same way I can come here and you can come here and broadcast to the world blessings, we can also bring the cursing. You can bring in positivity or negativity to our lives. So very important that we meditate. How many words have we used? What were the content of the words? How did we say the words? And these teachings are so beautiful because it goes hand in hand with a chapter from the book Calmness by Emmanuel. That is, I will add the link in the description for you guys to check it out. It's called Speak Peacefully, where Emmanuel describes to us in the book Calmness that the voice is our sound portrait, is our portrait of vibrations that come out to the world. So when we speak words, then we are projecting what is inside of us, right? Is it anger that I've dealt with today, dwelt in today? Is it kindness? Is it compassion? Was I careful? Was I careless? A lot of the problems we see nowadays can be attributed to carelessness when the words weren't wisely used. So let's see what Emmanuel has to say. He says, "You never regret having heard hundreds of sentences simply making one or two small observations. Avoid any comment alluding to evil, whatever it may be. Silence outbursts of anger. Prefer silence in moments or irritation. So I want to stop here for now so that we can focus on just this part here. Things we'll never regret. To hear, how many times we talk, and then we're like, I wish I hadn't said that. Or we comment on someone's less fortunate actions or situations, and then we are now commenting and colluding with evil. We'll never regret silencing outbursts of anger when we feel outraged, when we feel the right to be outraged, then we silence that outburst. Prefer silence in moments of irritation. How many times we say things and we are irritated, we are frustrated, we're tired, we're upset, then we say something and we regret. And then he's saying when we listen to our words, when we're present with people, not present with people, right? Then we're not in the moment, we're not paying attention where I am right now, listening to the Spiritist magazine. What place has God allowed me to be? Who is in front of me that allows me to interact? How can I think of the mentor of that person and in thought say, dear mentor of Joni, please guide my words so that I can make this situation better, so that we can help one another. Because we are here to grow, dear friends. Yes, we have things that we have to address from the past, but the goal is growth. The law is of progress. Therefore, just saying, that's just the way I am, I just talk a lot, to just say things, that cannot fly anymore. In the moments of planetary transition, one word can spur outbursts of anger. The stories we see these days, someone assaults someone because of a traffic violation. If they have practiced silence those outbursts of anger, and seeing one another as children of God, seeing one another as people with challenges and growth potential inside of us. When we look at someone and see the seed of divinity in them, just as Jesus looks at you today and sees the potential, pure spirit that you are destined to be one day. And we can make that growth, that ladder, steep and fast, or we can make the slope really low. Then it's going to take longer. It is free will. But we can choose today to practice. So if I find myself each and every day in the same situations, interactions, then it may be a hint. You need to learn this skill. If a lot of us did more hearing, listening than talking, the world would be a different place. Because we need to know, remember, I have my life, you have yours. You only know what of me, and I only know of you, what you show. So there are so many facets to any situation. This, I normally do not disclose information here because I want to focus on you and your reflection of the words, but I will share something that is relevant. I was at work and I had a very difficult conversation with a person who works for me. And I needed to be kind but firm. And things went well in certain areas, and things could have been said and managed differently, immediately different. This article came to mind. Through intuition, I visualized, I saw the article that we needed to discuss today. And the reason I was able to do that is because I do this program review every week. So I review the magazine every week, and I choose articles based on the inspiration from the superior spirits. And I had seen this article last week, and it was slated to be on the program. And a message came, an intuition came, do that message today, to show to you that we are all on the earth. Very few exceptions. We're all here to learn, to grow. Every time you listen to this, if you go back next week and you read this message again, you're going to get something different out of it. And that's the beauty of Spiritism, is when you have these timeless teachings that are serving us today and will serve the next generation when we put things in writing, when we make the videos available for others to watch. So today is the day to practice that, so that when bigger things in our lives happen, bigger challenges, difficult situations, then we have built that muscle. He will continue. Renounce frivolous guesses and the smallest controversies. How many of us just jump into the conclusions even though we don't know all aspects of a situation? We just guess and speculate what is happening without knowing. Do not have an opinion on problems that do not concern you. Yes, we should care for people. We should look out for them. But if the problems are not ours, do we really have a right to have an opinion about it? Emmanuel is saying no. What we need to have is the mindfulness and the empathy to go look for ways of helping. Maybe that problem concerns your neighbor, your co-worker, your family member, and you can say, how can I be of service today? You never regret dodging promises you cannot keep. How many of us says, yes, I would love to do that. I would love to do this, a message, translate, present, I'll be there, I'll do it. And then they don't keep their promises. Now you're creating an opportunity for regret. Meditate for many hours without opening your lips. Why do we love folks such as Chico Xavier and Divaldo Franco, for example? Just to give two. You probably have someone in your life that you gravitate to. And when you do that, probably because they listen to us, go on and on and on about things, the littlest details. They're meditating, they're listening, they're paying attention. They're not giving us right away examples of how their problem is worse than our problems, right? So we'll never regret meditating for many hours without saying anything. Sometimes silence is cheery. Just smile when never visited by disappointment or bitterness. How hard is this? Very hard. Otherwise, Emmanuel wouldn't have to teach us, right? We would know. We would be the ones teaching. Escape from complaints of any nature. We are very good at complaining and bringing up the problems, but we should stimulate the good from all angles. We only see a sliver of reality. 96% of what's out there is dark matter, dark gravity, dark energy. Our microscopes, telescopes cannot capture what's out in the universe or what's microscopic that we can see in the microscope case. There are many angles in a situation, and Emmanuel is reminding us to stimulate it from all angles. Someone comes to you with an idea. If it's won't hurt anybody, it will make the suggestions, it will do the good for others. Go ahead, tell them to be cautious, tell them to be aware that they are the path they're going, but stimulate the good, stimulate the workers at the center, stimulate people to translate messages, to share. And it's not because we have vanity and we want to see the shares. even though the shares and likes do have the dopamine effect on all of us, it is about being courageous to do the good. Evil is very courageous, very outspoken. We need to spread the good news of the Christ to fight the evil, which is the lack of goodness, right? Now, you never regret speaking words of forgiveness and kindness. Always be kind. We, and I haven't even done my spill of how would you feel if every time you open your mouth, no kindness came around. We feel good when someone talks to us and they're kind. Therefore, we take the first step to be kind. Explain about optimism, faith, and hope. When you read the Spiritist magazine, you read it out loud, you play this loud for the spirits to help you. We talk about how faith, hope, and optimism are helpful and helpful and keep us alive. Faith in God, that things will get better, that I have the strength to undergo the challenges, that I am supported. In this case, you, us all, we are all supported by the superior spirits. There's so much we can do. Exalt confidence in heaven. Teach what is useful, true, and sanctifying. How many programs and videos out there, not at Cardiac Radio, but in other channels, are not teaching anything useful? The opposite. They're teaching us things that are not useful. They're misleading. They're not teaching anything that is true and sanctifying. They will be frivolous, will be in the work of frivolousness. And then we go to the book Heaven and Hell by Allan Kardec, and we find in the second part of the book, you have the cases. There is one case about a lady who spent her reincarnation being frivolous, being worried about things that were important. And then finds herself bored in the afterlife. So we have to be very careful. Today you are seeding, you're planting the seeds of your tomorrow. So we teach what's useful, what is true, and sanctifying, such as the divine laws, right? Wonderful. Let's go back to the other side. Provide information to help others. So we're never going to regret providing information to help others. We'll regret if the information is not helpful. It brings gossip, intrigue, revenge. Then we are the work of the obsessors, our spirit friends who are living around us, indulging in not doing the good, right? Express good thoughts. Yes, we have problems. Yes, our life can be hard. But then we have to think of the grace of God that grant us the opportunity to be here today. We haven't merited as much, but God has given us this opportunity. And today is the day that we change our ways, our words, to be kind and forgiving, to be helpful, because you are within a society. You are fulfilling the love society. When we speak things, when we teach what's useful, when we teach with kindness, when we speak with forgiveness and understanding, you're building a better tomorrow for the entire community you live in. Because society is the sum of all of us. And the law of society dictates that we need to live together and we complement each other. So it's very important that we see ourselves in this matrix, enmeshed with one another through thoughts, because we are. Our thoughts are constantly traveling. That's why we express good ones, so we can connect with good thoughts. So whatever you do, you have an effect, intended and unintended consequences, things that we don't even realize that can happen. So it's very important that we see the importance of each and every second, each and every minute, each and every word. formally calls for fraternity and concord, not going online, sharing things, and liking things that are discordant, that are spreading falsehoods, that is spreading anger, that is inciting people to fight, inciting people to commit errors that they will regret, find themselves in the afterlife regretting what they did. Show kindness and understanding. Again, it goes without saying how good it feels when someone shows kindness and understanding towards us. Let's be the one who starts that chain. Because those kinds of behaviors, as much as if you stay around an angry person for long, the emotional contagion will catch you. You have mirror neurons in your brain that will mirror what that person is feeling, is saying. But if you're kind and understanding, you're spreading the kindness and understanding. So be that force of kindness and understanding. Be that light, that attraction. Strengthen work and education, justice and duty, peace and good, even at the sacrifice of one's own heart. How many of us are mesmerized by the beauty and the blessings of the comforts that we have in our lives? And we're not strengthening work and education, justice and duty. We are saying, wow, I would love to. But I have to do this, I have to do that. There's a barbecue here, there's an event there. I want to travel here and it's hard. I don't want to do the work. We need to sacrifice. It's about time that we look around with all of the suffering. We look around and we find the brothers and sisters in humanity who needs us. And trust me, we go and help. You will survive one weekend without a party. You will survive one weekend without enjoying yourself and relaxing. But the people who are hungry will be very thankful if you went to help them, or to help a friend, or to mow the lawn for a neighbor, or to work at your Spiritist center, whatever the sacrifice may be. Emmanuel is saying, strengthen work and education, justice and duty, peace and good. Examine the meaning, manner, and direction of your words before pronouncing them. What do I want to say? Start with the end in mind. What is the meaning of this word that I am pronouncing? The manner, how am I saying it? Am I angry? Am I kind? Am I understanding? And what is it directed at? If I have a grievance with someone, I go to that person and I resolve that grievance. I choose my words carefully. How I'm going to say, rehearse with someone by myself before we pronounce them. How many mistakes, how many things in our lives we would avoid if we just did this one sentence. Examine the meaning, manner, and direction of your words. From the same mouth proceeds blessing or cursing for the pathway. So in the same way, I can co-create in goodness with my words, blessing everything and everyone around me. I can also, in a sense, curse my pathway, meaning I can incur in errors that will require of me restitution. I can bless my way and grow faster, or I can remain subdued by my own imperfections. So today is the day that we choose, we examine what we're saying, how we are saying it, and where and to whom we are saying it. And that's the power of words. And if these words were helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to encourage you to share and like, subscribe, do all those things that make the content relevant. Remember, we are reading from issue 58. The article is Words by the Spirit of Emmanuel through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. And you can write to us at spiritistmagazine@gmail.com. Visit the website spiritistmagazine.org. And between now and the next time we meet, God willing, I'll be back with you next week for another episode of the Spiritist magazine. Stick around. Our dearest friend, Carol Correa, will be with you at 9 p.m. to discuss the divine laws as brought to us by the Spirit Spirits in the third part of the Spirit's book. Have a blessed night or blessed day. I will see you soon. Bye bye.